Welcome back. So far we have been talking about how to a specific data source called access log file, and from that we understood that what are the problems, though this file automatically collected by the web server and collects the user's navigation details. In order to identify the user's behavior from this and get some meaningful insight, we first have to remove the problems associated with this. We have to find out the ways and means to get rid of the problems that is it has, and in this context we saw that various pre-processing tasks that one conducts to finally bring it into session form and find out the complete path of user's activity and so on. So, today's class we are going to look at how this, once this is cleaned and all, how this web log is used for various activities. So, here we are going to talk about the framework for analyzing the server log and different types of analysis possible thereof. So, this is a basic framework for web log data analysis. Every site has contents in various contents in web pages. Log captures this and you get the, and this web log captures the details from the site map or site dictionary, if at all you maintain any, then the site content. Then this, look at this, this site map is also gives you the gives the input during data cleaning phase. This content gives the input for creating a site dictionary, and using all these details, taking inputs from site map, from content, from access log, finally you have this data cleaning sessionization process, after which you generate that flat files that containing various fields that we discussed, and then we try categorize this data to learn about the customer behavior, product access pattern, ordering nature of ordering various products, the process of ordering various products and so on, which can be used for various other purposes. Then the sessionized data can be used for various session analysis and static aggregation. The data which combines both the session data as well as other content and other detailed data, they can be kept in a data warehouse or a data mart. Data mart is a specific, is a multidimensional view of the data belonging to a specific category. So, where you can use OLAP tools to have a multidimensional view of the data. You can apply various data mining algorithms. When this data comes through data mining engine, the algorithms can be applied to generate patterns. Again, this level, there are different levels of analysis. First of all, static aggregation and finding the generic statistics, session analysis, this online analytical processing, which is for the data warehouse or the data mart, where the group of data from multiple sources have been kept. Then you also apply the data mining. Now, first task is using this data you can generate static aggregate. Through the process of static aggregation you can generate various reports. So, this is the most common form of analysis. This data is aggregated by predetermined units such as day or session. the advantage here is this can give you a quick view of how the site is being used, and you do not, because you do not involve any analytical modeling here, it does not require much processing and it also minimal disk space it requires. Then the drawbacks, it cannot give any deeper insight into the data. For example, here you can say like if your page views are for home page, how many number of sessions contained this home page viewing, and average number of counts per sessions which were for this viewing home page and other related pages, how many number of sessions were for catalog ordering, how many sessions people use shopping cart, during this shopping cart operation what was the average number of page views, and so on. During session analysis, which is also quite simple, you of course building the sessions require a lot of involves a lot of heuristics that we have learnt. There are certain time based heuristics, there are certain not only time, looking at the content, how the contents are related, that is another heuristic. So, there are various groups of heuristics, but after using those heuristics, once you identify the sessions, from these sessions examining individual groups, group behavior in each session is also quite important. So, analyzing each of the group of sessions can give better insight into customer activities, and it can trace specific problems with the site, like if some of the pages which people are trying to browse together, whether they are linked or not properly, and so on. But anyway, if you simply group them in a very crude manner, group the sessions in a very crude manner, then it is very difficult to generalize this data. So, you need specific user behavior models in here. Next is, you can have a multidimensional view of data using OLAP. For example, you can dig little bit deeper. For example, let us say some sessions are associated with browsing kids products, and within that session again some people only browsed educational products, browsed only electronic products, and within electronics some people browsed only educational products, and some people browsed some radio control like your remote toys or something product. So, we have already discussed about this OLAP queries while we talked about the data resources. So, that time it is about digging down the data further. Then there are certain specific software tools which help giving such static reports. So, these tools are called weblog analyzers, and the activity they do is called weblog analytics. So, this weblog analytics is the process of the measurement, collection, analysis and reporting of this weblog data for the purpose of understanding and optimizing the web usage. These are few tools: Webalizer, Sawmill, WebTrend, AW Stats, www Stats, Apache Log Viewer, Google Analytics and so on. So, they such log analytic tools either do some static aggregation and give you some generic statistics, or sometimes using their own heuristics they do session analysis. In this process, many terms are used to describe how a website is being used. You can say these are few metrics for using the to understand the web usage. First is hit, which is if a request is made to the server and the server is able to find the corresponding resource and it sends back, then it is called a hit. Then you have something called page views. It is if a request for a specific file whose type is defined as a page, not the embedded resource. Then visits per session. Within a session, definition of session I have already told you several times, and we are talking about server sessions only. So, the series of requests from the same uniquely identified client, even again I am reminding you, identifying a client uniquely is a very tough job, but series and requires a lot of heuristics. But the visits per session, once it is heuristical done, visits or sessions are called as the request for the same request coming from the same uniquely identified client with a set of timeouts, which is often 30 minutes. A visit contains one or more page views. Then click path. See, this access log data is also called clickstream data. So, click path is basically a sequence of hyperlinks, one or more website visitors follow a specific path, then it is called a click path. So, how many unique click paths are there and so on. Now, as I told you, there are specifically Google Analytics provides you with some JavaScript which acts like an agent, and it is once it is embedded within your web page, they start sending your users data to where? To Google server, so that you log into your Google account and you can see the performance of your web server. Now, Google has all your data, page view data. So, Google this is a snapshot from Google Analytics collected from some place, and this basically shows how the page views happen across the region. For example, it shows how the site is used, then on various dates, then what are the geographical regions from which you have got the requests, then and once again all these reports which you get uses the pattern of the access pattern of this thing, but in case of Google Analytics directly connects the data, but this Apache log viewer etc., the log file, if you give them input, they will be generating such reports. So, these numbers can tell how the site is being navigated, whether how exactly the people use the content of the website. It can also tell you about the website users. In fact, to understand more about these categories, you have to take various you have to use various tools like data mining tools to get certain insights. For example, if you would like to predict what the user is going to next do, you may be using sequence mining, you may be doing Markov chain analysis. Similarly, if you are discovering the associated events or application objects, you might again be doing association rule mining or sequence mining. Discovering of visitor groups within the common properties of interest, you may be doing clustering. Similarly, discovering the visitor groups with common behavior, you may be doing clustering or session clustering. Then characterizing the visitors with respect to a specific predefined classes, you may be doing certain classification. Then for example, detecting your credit card fraud, you might be doing this classification. So, in fact, the left hand side shows the activities that you may be doing, and the right hand side shows various data mining tools that is frequently used for this purpose. Now, for mining this navigation pattern, we have already talked about the sessions. The sessions usually give you a trail of web pages, user trail through the website, a set of sequence of web pages the user has browsed through. So, a trail is a sequence of web pages followed by user during a session ordered by time of access. So, here for example, if you would like to find out which kind of such trails are often followed by the users, maybe you can do some kind of frequent pattern analysis. So, in order to understand the co-occurrence of the web pages which are happening together, you may be using either association rule mining or Markov chain modeling. For example, if you are using association based approach, suppose these are your trails, A1, A2, A3 visited together, A1 visited together, then A1, A2, A3 visited together, and so on. Suppose you have these 6 things. Now, out of these, how can you say which are the web pages which are visited together? For this purpose, again a new data mining tool is used, which is called association rule mining. In fact, while talking about recommender system, we will be talking little bit more about association rule mining, but right now let us try to understand that this association rule mining is not limited to this particular application of finding the related web pages which are often browsed together. It has many more applications. In fact, one of the very primary application of this association rule mining is your market basket analysis. This because we are not right now, we are not going to go deeper into association rule mining, and while talking about recommender systems, we will be talking little bit more about this association rule mining. But right now, let us try to understand, it is about finding out the frequent patterns where 2 pages were visited together. In fact, this example is from that famous diaper beer example, where people have discovered that even unrelated products are often purchased together. So, anyway, this has nothing to do with our web page access, but this is a very generic example people always give, that even unrelated, this is about knowledge discovery, right. So, you do not know what kind of pattern you are going to get. After the analysis only you will be knowing about the kind of pattern you are getting, but there are certain there will be number of algorithms for this, but right now anyway we are not going to talk about the algorithms. There are many applications of this web usage mining. Let me remind you, this web usage mining is about mining the access log or the sessions resulting therefrom. There are algorithms to clean that we have already discussed. Assuming that such a cleaned form it exists, many applications can be done on this particular thing. First of all, prefetching and caching web pages, website reorganization, website personalization, recommendation of the links and products, various applications like calibration of a web server, which is about prediction of the next page invocation over a group of concurrent web users under certain constraints, which involves sequence mining and Markov chain. Cross selling of the products. About the cross selling and upselling, we discussed during our CRM when we discussed about the customer relationship management. So, that time we had these terms defined. Anyway, this is about mapping of web pages and objects to products, then discovering associated products which are often purchased together, then placement of associated products in the same page using, of course, here you will be using the association rule mining again. Then for the sophisticated cross selling and upselling of products, you require mapping of pages or objects to products of different price groups, identification of various customer groups, discovery of associated products under same or different category, then finally formulation of the recommendation for the end users. In summary, web usage mining emerges as an essential tool for realizing more personalized, user friendly and business optimal websites. The key is to use the user clickstream data, that is access log data, for many mining purposes. Traditionally, web usage mining is used by e-commerce sites to organize their sites and to increase the profit. Now, it is used by search engines to improve search quality and to evaluate search results, and many more applications also happen on this. With this, we finish this particular lecture. Thank you very much.